Hello everyone, today we're going to review the ECOROX by EcoGear, which is a product by Grace Digital. It's a small, completely waterproof Bluetooth speaker that you can use, and it will even float in water. So you can use it, and if you want it to float behind your raft or canoe or inner tube, it'll work just fine. So we're going to compare that to some the former EcoGear ECOXBT, which is a larger Bluetooth speaker right there. We're going to listen to how it sounds, and there's a few others that we're going to compare it to and see which is maybe the right one for you. But first, let's compare it to the larger cousin, the ECOXBT. Okay, so here we're going to try out the two speakers. First, the ECOROX on the right, Yankee Doodle, top volume. Now to the ECOXBT. Okay, and what you may or may not have been able to tell was that between the two speakers, a song like Yankee Doodle, which doesn't have a lot of bass, they sound pretty much equivalent. Now, if you get to more of a hip-hop or top 40 type music, what you'll find is that the ECOROX will get a bit muffled. And what I mean by that is if you listen to, we'll just play a quick second of here, ECOXBT. Okay, and what you're hearing is the ECOROX kind of bottom out, which isn't a big deal, especially for a speaker this size, but it does show you it does happen. Okay, the speaker that I think the ECOROX is closest to is the Braven BRV1, which is a nice Bluetooth speaker, which is very water resistant, but unlike the ECOROX, it can't actually float or be submerged. Now we're going to compare the two of these, again going back to Yankee Doodle. Full volume. Back to the EcoGear. Okay, what you might have noticed is that the ECOROX sounds a little bit louder, but it's not quite, it's a little brighter, and it has a little more of a muffled low end. The Braven BRV1 is a little quieter, but it seems to have a smoother overall response within the speaker. So that gives you an idea of some of its closest competition in terms of small, lightweight, water-resistant Bluetooth speakers. Okay, now that we've heard the speaker, let's actually look at how it's constructed. So you have all of your controls on the top. So you have your power, your Bluetooth, your pairing connectivity, your ability to answer the phone right there. You also have a kind of a reverberation chamber right here to give you some additional bass. And the back is, you can see it's completely sealed. So you pull this tab, and what you have is you have the access point for charging and for your auxiliary input. Close that off and you're ready to get it wet. And while it's not connected, you also have an attachment for a carabiner there to be able to stick it to something else. And finally, Grace Digital has a variety of different clamps that you can actually screw in the speaker right there and clamp it to. So you can clamp it to your bike or some other devices too with the optional and accessory, but which is sold separately. Okay, right here you can see all three speakers. A couple things to talk about. One is you get about a 4.5 hour battery life in the ECOROX, and the range on the Bluetooth is about 30 feet. So right now we're probably about 15 feet away. And back to Yankee Doodle. You can hear it playing. At top volume. So let's look at it actually in the water and see how it works while it's floating. Okay, so here are both speakers actually in the water. And you'll see a difference between the two because the ECOXBT floats speakers up. The EcoGear floats the speakers down a little bit. So I don't really understand why that is, but what it does mean is if you're floating with the speaker behind your boat, you're probably going to have a pretty tough time hearing it. So kind of keep that in mind. Okay, my final verdict on the ECOROX by Grace Digital, I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. I like the fact that it's quite a bit smaller than the ECOXBT. So when I travel, and this has been my standby speaker for whenever I travel or whenever I go outside, I take the ECOXBT because it does have good sound and it is almost indestructible. But the ECOROX might replace it now on certain occasions. It's going to be it's a lot smaller, so it fits in my backpack a lot easier for traveling. It has good sound. Now, if you're listening to stuff that's bass heavy, it does have a few limitations. So that's good. Now, a couple things that aren't quite as good. You did hear the limitations in the bass relative to the ECOXBT, and not that it's important to me because I really don't ever listen to a speaker while it's floating. But the ECOXBT here will float speakers up so you can hear it, while the ECOROX kind of floats like that and projects the sound into the water. So if you're using it for a raft or something, it probably is not going to work as well if it's floating. So another thing is you don't want to ever try to completely submerge the speaker. You need to play it like that. It's not designed for that, and you can't really hear a speaker if it's completely submerged anyway. But my final verdict on the ECOROX by Grace Digital would be 4.5 stars. It is comparable to the Braven BRV1, which is right here, but it's at quite a bit a lower price point, and it is more water resistant. The Braven BRV1 has the ability to charge other devices, but I never really found the need to do that. So that's my final verdict. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment. Thanks.